What is going on, Nissan Nation? From all things Nissan here in Middle Tennessee to Southern California to way over on the East Coast, this is your Nissan Nation Productions, and I am your host, David Boyd. And Danny, we've got a returning guest from like way back.
Hell yeah, Dave. What's up, everybody? It's good to see you again here on Saturday. We're actually getting to a normal schedule. Me and Dave will be able to hop on and chat, and yeah, we have a great guest here. Obviously, you can see him. You can see him now. This is Jeremy from the YouTube channel Z-Bruhz. Just a super cool guy that we interviewed on the podcast. And now we have him here live doing what he wanted to do way back then, which is like a live actual show. So we're stoked. For those of you that don't know, Jeremy has a YouTube channel that it kind of started with him building a 300Z and eventually drifting it and
his crew. He had his crew with him, and
his group of buddies, and they kind of had a dream of doing drift things with Nissan cars. So welcome, Jeremy. How's it going, buddy?
It's great, guys. Great. I'm so pumped to see you guys again, man. It's been a while. Things have changed, but I mean for the better, and it's good, man.
We're a little disappointed though. You don't have, like the last time you didn't know what we were about. So you and your buddies had your cars all in the background. It was a pretty shot. Like you had it lit, and me and Danny just looking at each other like, I don't know what we do with this, but cool.
Yeah, I was thinking I should have made like two posters. I should have had like one Z here and then one Z here by the window. It would have been perfect. It would have been the same thing. But no, honestly, this is sick, man. I'm pumped for this. This is awesome. This is such an opportunity, and I love it. So
well, if you guys haven't yet, and we every once in a while we'll post some of your stuff. But if you guys will go over to YouTube and Z-Bruhz, you can see it under his video right there. Go like and subscribe what they do. Like everybody, watch hours mean everything, and it just helps keep the cool Nissan content going, man. But so last time you were a 1Z guy, and suddenly I turn around and you're like, 1Z just wasn't cool enough for you. You had to double it up.
He's a 2Z. Yeah.
So what is the story with this? Why did you double up?
So I mean, long story short, I had a daily Z. Basically, me and a couple buddies went out drifting one night and total dad Z, unfortunately. So I mean that's how it happens. I mean, you're a beginner. It's what happens. So we total dad Z, and then basically I was like, you know what? My buddy was like, one day he's like, you know what drifting is? And I was like what? Like Tokyo drift? Like what everybody says, right?
Right.
And he's like, no, like drifting. And I was just like, I don't know, man. I was like, no. And he's like, check these guys out. So he showed me some YouTube videos about some kids drifting up in the Northeast. And I was like, what is this? Like, I just graduated from college, and I played hockey my whole life. So I was kind of like, I'm so used to the team. Like, I've always had a team around. So now, like, being on my own out of college, working, and like, I didn't really have that team aspect anymore.
All right.
And it was just crazy. He was just like, you got to get into this. And he's like, you know what? He's like, you have this car that's totaled. So what we can do is you can buy a shell, which I didn't even know what a shell was. And a shell is a rolling chassis, basically no motor, no transmission.
Danny knows about those.
Yeah. He's like, why don't you just swap everything over from that car and build a drift car? So I was like, okay, but I still need a car to drive, like to do everything that like as like a daily driver. So he's like, you know what? Like he's like, you find a car you like, I'll get you that car. So we went down to Virginia, and we found the Z that I have now. So my daily driver / show car. We found it with like a collector, a nice older gentleman. We drove down to Virginia, picked it up, and we trailered it back, and it was registered the next day. And it's been beautiful ever since. And now since this current content that I've just had with pulling the motor and doing every seal and every bolt on that motor, it's gorgeous. Like it turns heads. It's honestly amazing. Like I've never had a cool car before, and like for people to just be like to stop at lights, or just random people, like any age group. It could be a young kid to an older like car enthusiasts just like wave in and give me a thumbs up, and it's awesome.
Right. Dawson, thank you for subscribing, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So last time, I mean, your buddies that were with you on the show last time, like one of them had a Mazda or something, right? Or there was, what was it, Danny? There was
Integra,
Lexus
Acura Integra.
Yeah.
So that's Julian.
Yeah.
Julian, hopefully he's watching. So he's actually in Tokyo right now, or Japan. I'm sorry, not Tokyo. He's in the Navy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
He shipped out. So
I was wondering what happened. I knew he disappeared. I'm like, those guys were bros. I'm like, something happened. But it's good to know that, like, you know, it's just one of those things. That's what happens, and he'll probably go and do his thing, and probably pretty sketchy right now.
Right.
He's looking for a right-hand drive Z right now. So he started with an Acura Integra, and our build of the drift car, he was there that night where the drift car actually landed on the ground for the first time after we totally built it, and he got in it, and he's like, I'm selling my Integra. He's like, I want a rear-wheel drive car. So
that's right. He bought the Lexus, right?
So then he bought the Lexus, the SC, and he drifted that. It was an automatic car. So guys, if you don't know about drifting and drifting an automatic car, you need some skill. And Julian killed it. So he did that, and then he traded that for a Z. So then he got a 300ZX, and then he traded that for a right-hand drive Nissan President. And then within that time of building the President, he got shipped out. So he's overseas right now looking for a right-hand drive Z, and he still has the President. And so we're looking to have him back, man. He's definitely a character. I love that kid.
Right.
So.
And thank you, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, for that $299. We'll keep trading that back and forth, I think. So when you doubled up on these cars, though, like, so one is now pretty much your dedicated drift car, right? And the other one's your daily, right?
Right. Yeah, track car and daily. So a lot of people say that Zs aren't reliable. If you take care of it, it's reliable.
Right,
so
I'll tell you what, I started, so my truck got rear-ended, right? So it's in the shop at the body shop now. They gave me a rental car, some little Civic, or not Civic, it's I don't know, some kind of little Toyota. I don't even know what it is. It's so terrible. And so I parked that. I literally just parked it in my driveway, and I'm driving the Z every day. And my Z is like, I mean, it's almost like you drove it off the showroom floor. It starts up perfect every day. The AC is cold. It runs like a top. Like, it is so nice to drive, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm like, I almost feel like, I mean, because they have such a bad reputation about, you know, little things going wrong and this and that and whatnot. But I mean, I'm almost like, why is everybody complaining? It runs so good. When it's running good, it's running good. You know, I'm sure I'll have problems, you know, more miles I get and stuff like that. But it's a phenomenal car to drive every day.
My buddy needed to use my car. My buddy Jesse, you guys always see me. He's like the hidden guy on the channel. He's cool. He always gives me ideas for the content and stuff, but he doesn't like to be on it. So I let him, let him do his thing. It's all cool. But he had to drive my Z for a couple of days, and the daily Z, and he got in it, and he's like, the steering's so tight. He's like, this car is like beautiful. So it's good to hear him say it, because he doesn't really like Zs. So.
Nice. Right on.
Well, so just scanning through your channel today, because unfortunately I can't keep up with everybody that does everything, but I was glancing through the channel, and of course it looked like you put some new coilovers on this daily, and you've done some.
Yeah, the daily is getting, like, I mean, is it done? Because I just watched the last video that you put out today. I think it was all the timing, and all that. So I watched all that today. So now I'm guessing it's basically all back on the road now.
She's been done for about a week now. I think she's been done. I've been driving around. I put a ton of miles because like I said, I've been moving. So I put a ton of miles on it. I think I got like 650 miles on the fresh rebuild. Wow. And doesn't skip a beat. The thing is amazing. And my girlfriend makes fun of me all the time. She's like, I don't know why you put this much money into this car. I was like, listen, this car is 30 years old, and it's lasted me to now. And now I just rebuilt everything, so it should last another 30 years. So
So for those of you that haven't watched his channel yet, so what he did was, and I'll kind of give him a synopsis. Basically, your car was, I mean, it was good, but I mean, it needed a lot of little things. And with the Z, it's like one of those things where if you go in and do one thing, you should do this. You know, if you pull off the intake manifold, you're going to want to delete coolant pipes. You know, if you if you want to get down to the power steering, you might as well pull the engine or so, that kind of stuff. And so once you pull the engine, you're like, let's just knock it all out now because I don't want to pull the engine twice, right? So that's kind of how I've noticed with all the Z stuff that I've been watching, and that because I just soak it up right now because eventually I'm gonna pull my motor and and basically put it on a stand and do all the things just because of it. It'll need a timing belt and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's basically what you've been doing for, well, how long did it take you really?
So truthfully, it took me once I got all my stuff in, obviously we like to shop, right? So we're shopping for like prices and everything like that. So that took me about a week and a half just to shop for prices. And then once I got everything ordered, everything came in. I started May 1st and I ended May 31st.
Right.
So about a month. About a month, and I was doing 10-hour days every day, Monday through Sunday, because quarantine. I didn't have anything else to do. School already ended for the semester, so I was like, you know what, I might as well just head on collision into it and just try to get it done before I had to move, because I was supposed to move technically June 1st.
Right.
So I had to get it done for.
Yeah, and in truth, like I watch your videos, and it's like true backyard mechanic situation. I mean, you're in a driveway with jack stands and a jack.
Well, and Danny, Danny, to get that, like when we met you were under a little tarp doing most of your stuff.
Man. Watching your original videos where you're swapping motors and then you're dealing with
in a basement.
Snow and oh my gosh, I'm just like hat tip to you, because I barely want to work on some things. I have like B pipes, or what are they? Test pipes and the X pipe. I don't remember what they're called. But I've been like, I should put those on, and I'm like, I got to get some gaskets, and I'm like, it's a little hot out today and stuff. Meanwhile, like I'm in Southern California, there's no rust, like I have no rust on the car. I don't have to deal with any of that. It's like 75 outside, like 80% of the year, and I'm just such a puss. And then I watch your videos, you're like, it's freezing today, or it's raining on us right now. I got like 3 tarps over me, and I got 2 easy ups. I was watching today, and I was like, dang, he's got 2 easy ups over him. I'm like, what's he doing? It's probably because it's gonna rain any point
Danny,
in time.
You don't know, like you're saying, you don't really know what cold is, and then here I'm in southern eastern part of the world, and I think it's cold, and then like you're in where, Massachusetts, right, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Mass.
Yeah, so like Danny was saying, we think we know what cold is, and then you're like, here, hold my beer, buddy, because I got a hat
tip for you because you put in the work, and I know you put in the work, and it's a solid hat tip.
It's not even just me though, honestly. Like I only know so much, right? I'm self-taught. Right. I can't thank the guys enough, and like I'm saying that full-heartedly. Like Mark, Robbie, Jesse, Louie, Andrew for letting me keep my car at his house, like under a canopy. Like we're not. The state told me I could not have my canopy at my parents' house because it's not structure. So if I didn't get it out of my house by a certain day and a certain time, they were going to charge $120 a day to keep the canopy up.
God.
So my mom's like, yeah, you're out, kid. So like again, Julian, Mark, Robbie, all those guys, like they help me out so much. And honestly, they're my backbone. Like they're always trying to like push for me to get content and stuff. And there was like a little bit of time I took off that I was like, I'm trying to focus on school, this and that. And they're like, listen, man, like you have great content, you have a great following, just keep going, just keep pushing. Like they're like, you can do it. You're a strong enough kid, you can do it. So, but the weather throws curveballs all the time. Like I said, it snowed in May.
Yeah.
In one of my recent videos, it was beautiful out, like 70 degrees. Then it started pouring, and then overnight it snowed. And I was like, what is going on?
Was that the exhaust video?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I'm like, oh, geez. I'm like thinking like this guy's got a freaking slide under his car, in jack stands. And it's like pouring rain, and then like cold as piss, probably. Well, cold as piss as far as I'm concerned. And I'm just thinking like knuckles blasting on exhaust bolts. You're breaking exhaust bolts. I mean, exhaust kind of sucks to do. It's never fun.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. You broke all the bolts. That's an East Coast thing, like rust. I mean, it's just part of life. You don't expect bolts to hold on the exhaust. But
I knew right off the bat, I'm like, well, good thing I got new headers. So
yep.
Oh, Ronald's in the house. Thank you, Ronald.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. But What is sort of why did you grab another Z though? What was, I mean, was it just your other one was sort of getting beat up and you knew, or was it just opportunity and there was a car?
No, so I needed another daily driver, truthfully. So that's why we got the nice Z.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, and then Jesse was like, "Listen, man, like we gotta look, like you gotta drift," because he was getting into drifting. Our other buddy Victor was getting into drifting, and then basically like the community just started coming around me, really weird. Like my buddy Artie, he lived like 5 minutes away from me. I've never met him until one of the first drift events, and then he's like, "Oh, like you're Z-Bruhz, like." He's like, "You're from Springfield, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I'm from like 5 minutes down the road." I'm like, "Holy crap." So then I met him. And then one night, there was an air show at the airstrip right near where Andrew used to live. And he's like, "Hey, Artie's like, hey, why don't we go to Andrew's house and go to the air show?" And I'm like, "Okay, cool." Like, I was like, I never met this kid, but I mean, like, if he's in the drift community, like, everybody's cool in the drift community.
Right.
It's not like drag racing or anything like that.
Wait,
like,
there's Adam LZ, and I'm gonna say he's not that cool, man. So he likes to import cars that aren't legal. But anyways,
yeah. No comment on that. So I don't really know. So,
I know he's from your area, so
yeah. But yeah, no, man, it was just crazy. Like, so I met Artie at the drift event, and I met Andrew at the same drift event, or my first drift event in New Hampshire. And my car stopped on the track for some reason. It was my CAS came unplugged, but I couldn't figure it out. I mean, I just started like building cars and driving. So Andrew comes over and he goes, "This is what it is." So he came over, never met this kid, just comes over and he plugs this plug in. His car started up. He's like, "Get back on the track." And I was like, "Okay."
Sweet.
Got back on the track, and then a couple months later, Artie's like, "Let's go to this kid's house." I'm like, "Okay." I show up and I look at him. I'm like, "You helped me get my car back on the track."
Nice.
And started dying. He's like, "No way. Like, what a small world." So so then like from there, me and Andrew like built this great relationship. And then he took me in, like I said, when I had basically nowhere to go with the drift car, and he's helped me for every day that I'm there. Dude, we put in so much time to get our cars vinyl wrapped, like sanding. Oh
yeah.
We spend so much time sanding. So
yeah,
we built a great relationship, and man,
cool.
that's how it turned out. Like I needed a daily driver, and I wanted my race car too. So
yeah, it's cool to see. And I think I talked about this a lot on the way back when we first started doing our interview with you. It's truly like, you had a passion for something, and you documented basically starting from like, hey, let's pull this motor out and swap it into a shell. And then it was, hey, let's rebuild this motor, and then it was like, hey, let's put this handbrake in, let's figure it out, Yeah. And I mean, I think it's so super cool because you see a lot of like, people that weren't your friends before, that, it's like you meet them at an event, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'm doing the same thing, same common interest. Hey, let's bring this over to my shop and we'll knock this out. Or, hey, I know how to do that, bring it over. And it's you going and getting your hands dirty and learning how to do it. And your buddies that have done one thing or the other, giving their information. That's the channel. It's a growth from let's just do it, and you see it constantly evolving. And now you're getting more in the guru side of things. We're like, oh, I've been through that, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that 7 times, I've replaced this motor, I've pulled a motor a couple times, it should take this long, this is the best way to do it, which is super cool. I mean, for Frontiers and Xterras and stuff, I do, I'm kind of closer into that more guru side because I've done so much with them now. Yeah. But it's great. Like, I watch it from a Z perspective, where I have a Z now, and I'm just like soaking it in because I know a lot of that stuff is something that I probably end up doing or whatever. But it's cool to see just the growth. The channel is super cool, just for informational purposes. And so I'm stoked on where it's been, where it's going. I know you have big things. Do you want to talk about anything that's coming up on the channel in the future, or?
I'll give you guys a little tidbit. So, like you just brought up, right? Is like, I love learning. Like, that's one of my things. Like, I'm going for my master's now. Like, I love learning. I love trying to get my hands dirty, trying to get my hands onto things, right? And so Sean Liddy is the owner of Ringleader Racing, which I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram or whatever, but he builds big turbo, old school cars. I'm talking about Chevelles, Camaros, Firebirds, anything. Like, we were just working on a 58 Chevy, like, right. 1,200 horsepower car. If you guys want to see some cool stuff, check out at Ringleader Racing. But he's been known since like in Florida and everything that he used to build cages, like the best cages you can buy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he is an NHRA cage specialist. Like he has people spec his cage.
Mm-hmm.
And I just bought a cage, so I am excited for that. I'm fine. So now there's going to be a lot more footage of tandeming, so it's going to be a lot more enjoyable. Yep. But I'm going to learn how to put a cage in a car. So I'm going to learn how to weld. I'm going to learn how to notch and all that jazz. So I'm super pumped about that. That's like the biggest thing right now. Besides that, basically the drift car is pretty much where I want it to be. Obviously, I'd like a turbo car, but seeing my buddies with turbo cars and seeing other kids and they're like at the track and they're overheating and they're coming with headaches or hiccups, whatever. Honestly, man, the VG30 NA, like I get like 200 horse, around 200 to 225, and I haven't 4 years. I haven't had any issues. So I'm just gonna leave that, put a cage in, get the interior painted, and I mean the drift car is where it's at, man.
Just have fun, right?
I really can't see anything else that I'd want to do. Like a sweet angle kit would be great, but I kind of like where the car is at now. I have to really push it to its limits. And I mean, that's really what I'm pushing towards. But besides that, honestly, it's just more of the show car build, trying to really make that show quality. And so I can break necks just daily driving that. But I really can't wait to honestly get out there with the guys and just get back on the track. You know, this whole COVID thing's put a damper on things for us in the Northeast a lot. And I mean, guys are already driving in Florida and they're having a blast. And we're talking about, oh, dude, we should go to Florida. We'd take a road trip and it'd be great footage, right? But I mean, everything costs money. So
well, there's a lot of weirdos in Florida too, man. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, you gotta watch. Florida's a very hit or miss situation. You either win or lose. There's no in between.
But yeah, so I mean that's the goal, right? So we have some things coming up, but I mean if you guys really want to check the channel out, like I said, from day one, it's definitely grown, and even in my eyes, right? Like I love to get other people's feedback. So if you guys want to go back and watch the first ever video I had where it's complete trash, I'll tell you guys that right now. Like my first 4 videos,
hey, we have those too.
We've all been there.
Yeah, the camera's all over the place. It's like up my nose, and I don't even know what's going on. But it's definitely grown, and I can't thank the guys enough, honestly, the team. Like I said, we're working on a helmet sponsorship right now. We're working on obviously the sponsorships that I've had in the past with KBD Body Kits, D&D Performance Interior, Godspeed Project. Honestly, it's been a run. It's been a run, and 2020 isn't over. So 2020 isn't over.
For sure.
Right. Well,
cool, man.
Did we lose Danny?
Did we?
Oh, there you are. No, we're all good. We're all good. Sorry, Danny.
Good.
Yeah, I was just saying, we really appreciate you hopping in here and sharing a little bit about your story and what you're doing on the channel and what's coming. And hopefully, all of our followers go check his channel out, subscribe, throw some likes up, give him some love, because he's out there with some Nissan love, and he's doing a lot of fun Nissan things. Right. And we need a new Z. And so we need to just make sure that the Z community, whether it's the old, new, or middle, we need to push Nissan to get that thing out. 400Z, bring it.
And as we wrap with you, Jeremy, let's talk for a minute. The new Z, man. You've seen, I'm sure, Nissan's little sneak peek at that. You've seen every person that can Photoshop something into something, calling it the Z. What is your impressions of what Nissan dropped the other day?
So what I saw, truthfully, and it breaks my heart. I like the rear. I like the rear. The rear looks pretty cool. Like all the renders that people have been doing with like the taillights and stuff, because they kind of look like Z32 taillights.
Yeah.
Going to the rear quarter glass, it looks kind of sleek, but then it's still got that like 350Z, 370Z kind of bubble top. Like it kind of like rounded up top. And the front end, lights look good, but then like I said, it's like into like a 370, something like 370, 350 kind of look in the front. And I've never really been a big fan of 350s and 370s.
What?
No, hear me out. They're fast and they're great drift cars. If you guys want to get into drifting, one of the best things for your drift car is a 350Z bone stock.
Just like an 06. Yeah.
But looks wise, I love them because they're Z's. Obviously, I love all Z's. But I hope I don't know. I want to see it in person. I need to see it in person. But also, I'm one to say, and Jesse's gonna get so mad at me or rip me for this, but even I'm not a Supra guy. The new Supra, I don't like.
That's,
Oh no,
that's
me
horrible.
neither.
You mean
It's
the BMW?
BMW.
The Liberty Walk kit on it. I love it with that. It looks great.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
bone stock Supra, no.
No,
R30,
me neither.
yes.
Yeah.
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 I think that's most people. I think people like the new Supra just because it's a new Supra.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the new style 90s sports car. That's
Yeah.
Well, it's a name is all that is, really. I mean, they you know, the last Supra had such a it never sold well. The last one from the 90s never sold, but for some reason the fan like Fast and Furious hit, that car's in there, and
everybody wanted it.
yeah, and now that so it's, you know, and I don't blame Toyota. Let's use that name and let's get a little mileage out of it. But
Well, the 2JZ was a
2J was huge.
that
yeah,
amazing motor. I mean, it still is. Everybody wants one. You know,
Oh, yeah.
sticking their into their Z32.
Yeah, you see all those builds?
There's a lot of builds with those motors in it, and I don't blame them. It's kind of nice, you know, if you want to work on an engine, it's a little bit easier, it seems like. But
Listen, you can
I wouldn't do it.
high RPMs, perfect for drifting. High
Yeah.
RPMs, and you can beat the piss out of it.
Yeah, it's a good motor. I mean, you can't knock that motor, but.
Well, Jerry, we appreciate you being on here, man, and joining us. And guys, once again, if you haven't yet, and you're gonna piss us off if you don't, go like and subscribe to everything Jeremy does. Like no, but and why I say this, for a guy like you, sponsorship is everything. It helps. You're so low budget, like any help can do that. But to get more sponsors, you need to show social media presence. So that's why we push that hard for guys like Jeremy, because it required, like for us Nissan, there's levels for us, like for Jeremy, for just because you had Godspeed, whatever. I seen your video that you did on
Godspeed
that,
Project.
and of course those guys right now are hurting. So it's more important now than ever, since they're shut down, that you guys rep the company that's helping you out. So once again, go like and subscribe to everything he does. If you don't, we're gonna go take Danny Z off a cliff. Ain't that right, Danny? You can always tell when Danny wasn't paying attention. He's like, what?
Safety.
But all right, man. Well, we appreciate you being on here, and till next time, we'll check with you a couple months down the road and see how it's going.
Hey, thank you guys so much for having me. And again, I just want to give a shout out to the girlfriend for putting up with all the work and all the time that I keep away from her, and all the family, and obviously all the guys on the Z-Bruhz Drift team. I'm so thankful for them. Just remember that. And you guys, thank you for having me. Honestly, this was great.
Not a problem, man.
Absolutely,
Hopefully it's a
man.
little better than last time.
It was great. I loved it.
All right, man.
All right, brother.
We'll talk to you.
All right, guys.
There we go,
There
Danny.
you go, man. God, I love chatting with that guy. It's just true car people, you know,
Yes.
from bottom up.
Yes, he's so happy. Like just so happy.
He's like the guy you want to just go hang out with and drink beers and work on cars, you know?
Right. No, exactly, man. So I will say I was a little heartbroken that he didn't really the Z he wasn't real fond of that one yet, Danny. But they're all not winners.
Here's what I'm thinking is, like, was he and I probably should have asked this because and I was thinking about it. If he was talking about there's that yellow picture that's out, that yellow Z, and then I think that looks a lot different than the one that they teased in the video.
Right. Well,
so the yellow, I don't like the yellow one.
The lights. That's not it, man. Because there's no way that lights.
It's hard to nail down like which. I mean, obviously the one that Nissan put out is the one that they're leaning towards, and that's the possibility or whatever. I think it looks a lot like old school 240, 260, 280, and that's why I like that one. But again, it's kind of like what he says. Until we can see it either for real or in person, I mean, it's just us kind of postulating.
Yes.
Real hard.
Yes. Well,
let's talk to our people, Dave.
I know, man.
Let's talk about some things.
So I seen a couple questions pop up, and somebody was asking if we had talked anything about the Rogue release yet. No, we have not talked about that, but I will bring it up in a minute. Let's see. Let's shout out a few people. There's Carrie Beasley, Joe Taylor, Frontier Life, Sleep Worker, or whatever Andrew's name is that I'll never remember right. Who else we got on here? I want to say, Ronald, thank you for that super chat, man. And once again, guys, when you do that, we greatly appreciate that. I'm not begging for it. I'm just saying we do appreciate that when you do that. So thank you. Who else we got on here? Andrew's like hogging up the chat. There's a
Expedition Outfitters yammering on about Fords again. That's you guys can ignore him. That's just my troll buddy from out here in SoCal. He loves to hop on here and troll me every single one. But we appreciate you being here.
and he'll get to see that I think in 2 weeks. The new Bronco pops out. So
yeah.
So you'll get to see it very soon.
And until the 2 weeks happens, all you are is just yammering about something that's not out yet.
I did see some news today that they may be trying to do a truck version of that, like the Gladiator.
I saw that. I don't know. We'll see when that.
I thought about it, and I know this isn't super Nissan related, but I'm like, why would you have brought out a Ranger then? They don't need 2 mid-sized trucks.
Well, maybe the Ranger's just not doing as good as they think, and they're like, well, let's maybe see. Maybe they're feeling how good the Bronco's going to do, and they have an idea. If the Bronco's killing it, then they'll just maybe phase out the Ranger and do the Bronco truck or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
or they'll just go straight for the Jeep Jugular.
Jeep, yeah, well, that ain't gonna happen, man. Jeep owns that, like, because we keep.
I don't know, Dave. I don't believe that at all.
Oh, dude,
I think Ford can
sales proves it. Sales, look at sales, man. They're almost
no. I'm saying right now.
Oh,
if the Bronco is coming out to go straight against the Jeep, that's what Ford's doing. They're going for the Jugular on the Jeep.
I don't know that they're going for the Jugular. I just think right now they want to steal sales. I mean, I know what you're saying. You got to go for the Jugular. You better produce something that's better than the Wrangler. But if Jeep guys are so loyal.
If Expedition Outfitters is right, and he said that the new Bronco will have a front and rear locker and a 7-speed manual transmission.
Well, it's a 6-speed with a crawl. It's a crawl ratio. It's a 6-speed.
If they have like a if they have a truck like that, I mean, it's going against a Rubicon.
Right.
There's no if that's absolutely, if they're coming out with a front and rear locker truck that's the same, that's built like a Jeep, that they're going, I don't think they're trying to steal sales. I think they're trying to dominate that market.
Right.
Especially with the different sizes and stuff like that, the 2-door and the 4-door. I don't know what they're going to do with that, and I'm very curious to see how that plays out.
But I know what you're saying on that, but dude, it comes down to that front axle. And whether ride comfort, independent front suspension all day long, but you've got how many years? 60 years of people knowing Jeep for that front solid axle front that's everybody knows can articulate like crazy.
But it's not, Dave. It's a Dana what is it? A Dana 44, and it's not a great front axle.
No,
unless you get the Rubicon. Well, it's a Dana 30. It's a Dana 30, Dave. Unless you get the Rubicon.
No, in the 2-door, it's a 30, but
unless it's a Rubicon, I think it's a Dana 30, which is a super weak axle. You barely run 30
This isn't Jeep Nation by any means, but
yeah. Anyhow,
but that does lead into a lot of I dropped a video. Hey, Nissan, I'm talking about Terra, and I came across some news the other day about everybody's like, when are they going to bring? They got to bring back an Xterra, guys. Xterra is not coming back, and here's why. I'm sure many of you know. Nissan partnered with, there's an Xterra race. It's an outdoor, kind of like a triathlon deal they do.
Yeah.
They got to use that name. They paid royalties to use that name. Well, the deal came up, and that's why you see that Terra overseas not called an Xterra because of this. They don't want to pay these fees anymore. So the days of Xterra are gone. Now, I was in my video, I talk about we need that. And once again, Danny, I know you would be excited to get the Terra over here. I would.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd buy one immediately.
Yeah.
Nissan, I would buy a Terra today.
Well, as long as it's got that V6, right?
Yeah, with the 3.8, of course.
If
they don't put that 3.8 in it, maybe I'll go buy a Bronco. That would be ridiculous not to come out with that one.
Flytrap coming in for the $2.
Yeah, exactly. Weak sauce Dana 30 up front. Weak sauce Jeep.
but they're Nissan. Nissan. Oh, we got the Copelands coming in.
Yeah.
What's up, Copelands? But and I know you're kind of hit or miss on Jeeps. Like you're like, they're okay. But Bronco's opening the door for other manufacturers. Like why Chevrolet does not have a true something to jump in now. Toyota is only a year and a half away from dropping the new 4Runner. And Nissan needs to get their ass in gear. And I know if they want to bring it here, there's crash testing you got to do. There's regulations. It's got to meet emission standards and all this stuff. But they've had this thing developed since 16. that would be perfect in our market, and just don't have the balls to bring it here for whatever reason. They want to do what we're going to get into right now. They want to keep doing Alpine Tribe. Thank you, sir, so much. That does help a lot. I'll feed Danny a beer now. But we've got whoa, Rule, look at Raul bringing in the $5, man. But Danny, Nissan right now, their focus is the Rogue, and I sent you a picture of that this week. And
yep, I think you dropped the picture.
I did on our Instagram and our Facebook page. And what's up, Ricky Bobby Fast? I was talking to some of my media friends, and they're very hit or miss on this thing. Like, now we know Nissan needs a hit on anything they do. Like, they cannot afford to have any misses. But I actually like what I've seen of this thing. I think it's different. They had to go against the grain for lights and stuff because you got to look different. You can't. Hyundai did this a while back when they brought in their new design team in the late 2000s. They changed the look completely. And look what it did for Hyundai. Like, it overnight changed them. Their status is way up there now. So I think for Nissan, this is the right direction. What do you think?
Yeah, and like I've kind of pointed out in a lot of the vehicles, it's almost that they're doing that same design characteristic across the line of all their vehicles, where it's that front bumper, that front little kind of cutout thing, which is a big thing.
The Alpine's talking about your thirst, man. So that's
I know. He said I'm a lush.
I know that.
So I'm actually I'm texting my daughter to go grab me a beer right now.
Alpine, that $2.99 ain't gonna get him a beer, buddy. That's all I'm saying. But I do, like, you know, I've showed some spy pictures of the potential inside of this thing, and the Platinum Edition is gonna be freaking plush, and it's about time. Like, Nissan really needed to step their game up with the interiors, man. No more just cheap, sort of nice. You're gonna go for it.
They haven't been. Nissan's never been a terrible interior, but I do think they need to step it up a little bit. I was pretty impressed when it was like a year ago when I got into the
Tammy Copeland,
the new Armada. Oh, what's up, Tammy? When I got into the new Armada, it was really nice, you know, and especially that one that we got to drive out in
Snow Patrol,
Jackson Hole.
Oh God, I love
very nice. That interior was premium.
Dude, our listeners know how bad I wanted to build that. I was going to build a replica of that thing.
You wanted one of those so bad. Yeah, because it was that cream interior, and you guys know how much Dave loves a good cream. So it was really interior. Inside. Yeah. So it was really nice. And the new Titan, the 2020 Titan, great interior.
Mm-hmm.
I like the interior. There was a couple niggles that you had about it or whatever.
Yeah, just a couple trim pieces that didn't look like they.
I didn't
belong.
You're on yours, but I think the
2020s
they
fixed
fix it in the 2020.
They
They fixed some of the problems where you were like, I remember your video where you were talking about this panel doesn't match anything, you know, and I do think that's one of the things that they've struggled with is every once in a while they try and do something snazzy, and it's just like, whose idea was this? You know, did somebody like come up with this and not tell anybody during the design phase?
I've talked about this a lot with like the Armada that we were in, Snow Patrol, which I think it was an 18 or something when we got it. The outside of that truck is amazing to me. It's classy, but yeah, when you put a little lift on it and some big tires, it looks mean. But you get inside, and they had an outdated radio in it, like badly. And now the new one's coming out, and they have fixed this. If you've seen the EU or the Australian version, you see the new radio. It's a double split screen, but they put the tack in it. The little mileage readout was like from 2004, and it was orange. It didn't go with the thing at all, and it was like attention to detail. And I called Nissan out on this stuff in my last Titan review of like, guys, you build an amazing product. Your quality, other than a CVT transmission that we can all beat up all day long, the quality of a Nissan product is on par with anybody. I'll put it up against Toyota any day. That Frontier, there's nothing going to happen to that Frontier. Like, it's bulletproof. But there's a weird attention to details with some of this stuff, which I think they fixed on this Rogue. I do. From the spy shots I've seen on the interiors, like, it's... And because Rogue's their best-selling vehicle, it has to be a home run for them, man.
Well, and Rogue for a long time was kind of like a budget CUV or whatever you want to call it, that segment. And you'd see a lot of them that were kind of like stripper down models. This one looks like a much higher end version in that segment, as opposed to, just like the Honda Civic version of a CUV.
Yeah.
For the longest time, that's what it was. So hopefully they keep them all dressed up and whatnot.
Alpine Tribe. I love the unicorn, man.
He's dripping unicorns on us. He's dripping it in right now.
But yeah,
Just a tip.
Of course, it'll be too early for you. So it's 8 Central when Nissan releases. They're going to do their video presentation on this thing, and they've had so much changeover over there. I've not got a press release on this thing yet, so I'm kind of bummed out. So Nissan, hey man, you send me press releases on everything else. Maybe it was that Frontier video we dropped that they're like, we'll forget this guy for a couple times. But so I don't know. I do know that you're going to see it with that new variable compression engine that Danny loves so much. Transmission wise, I would like to think we're going to see it with a real transmission. My heart is set that I don't know that the 9-speed, I would think the 9-speed, but I don't know. But Rogue is nothing but an Altima. Let's just be honest. It's the same underpinning as an Altima, and right now that Altima is still in a CVT, Danny.
Which that rental car that I have is a CVT, and good God, I hate driving that car.
It's not fun.
I hate it. It is just the most vanilla. It's like walking into the kitchen and stepping in fresh, soft dog turd with bare feet. That's the feeling of driving that car.
Yeah.
It makes you just want to,
Well, I'll get my son's 17 Sentra sometimes, and yeah, you're sitting in this car and it's a nice car, but it's not a driver's car, and of course it's not trying to be a Z, but it's still at some point you want to feel like your purchase is not just like a tricycle that just sort of can get you to town, but do you look cool doing it? Do you feel cool doing it? No, and the way the transmission technology has came over the past 5 years or so, man, there's no reason they can't put a 6 or an 8-speed transmission in this thing.
Yeah, they're a lot more durable, and you can get, it's definitely something that needs to be happening. Let's see here. What are people saying?
The Juke is fun, Alpine Tribe. Kevin Copeland said. The Juke is fun, dude. But the Juke is fun in a 6-speed. I don't know that the CVT would be so much fun. I'll say when I got to test drive the Maxima when it first came out, the latest generation, it shifted. It felt like, it was sporty. It felt like it. But at the end of the day, it's just this little rubber band that's just simulating
it. Feels like there's a lot of power loss too.
There is.
I don't know why. It's just you hear the engine like, and then you feel the car catching up to the motor. It's weird. You know,
you're definitely right.
It doesn't. It's not like it's connected. It's almost like you have a little hamster, just like you're like, spin, little boy, spin, and he's like, ooh, and he starts running really fast, and then all of a sudden, like, you see a rubber band like winding, and all of a sudden your car starts seeing that, and then it's like, oh. It's like one of those little dogs that's on the tile floor, and they start running, and finally they start getting some traction, and they shoot out. And that's how it feels when you're driving, and you're like.
But then you get to a stop sign. You get to a stop sign.
Yeah.
You got to start the process all over again.
Yeah, you're like.
Tammy Copeland, thank you, ma'am. Let's see. There was something else I was just want to talk about. We got all kinds of mice and everything on here. Let's see. Ricky Bobby Fast. I'm not pressed with the new Ultima transmission. It shifts weird. It's probably some of it is between that and I'm assuming you have the 4-cylinder, the variable compression one. So I don't know. And it's a first year of the new Ultima. So they'll tweak it. They always do. They tweak the first year of the car once it gets out. Of course, that motor's been, it was an Infiniti motor first, so it's been out. So, Danny, did you see? Speaking of Infiniti, did you see Nissan? They had one over here. I put some pictures up last week of I forget which model it was, the QX50. It was badged up for no reason. Like they had the Infiniti logos all badged up, what it was, and nothing else was hidden about it. And I was like, well, this car's been out for a while. I don't know what we're hiding. Maybe a new logo.
Was it an Infiniti, and maybe they had Nissan logo stickers on it. That's what the new Nissan is going to be.
No, because at first I thought, oh man, there's the new Rogue floating around, and I was trying to snap some pictures of it, and then I seen it was Infiniti, and I was like slowing down, like, oh, never mind, nobody cares about that thing.
Yeah.
Danny, I don't know if you saw this, that Infiniti they're trying to redo the brand image again. Every 10 years, somebody's got to come in and try to make Infiniti Mercedes of some sorts. But And reports were coming out that Infiniti sort of missed the mark. They had a chance to take on Tesla directly. Like Nissan had a real chance with that to put all their EV tech towards that brand. And
that really should have been the way they did it. And and it's almost like they thought, you know what, let's try and bring the EV into more of like the car for everybody, affordable version, and so they worked it through the Leaf and stuff like that, right? So
right.
Yeah, it's a interesting choice, and it's almost like at this point they have to, keep going forward with that, just because of all their, all the work and time they put into Leaf, and then the new, what is it, the Aria, right?
Well, yeah, Joe Taylor, I know they're calling it Infiniti. Their Infiniti is what they would like to say is Nissan Plus, but I'm sorry, your Platinum Edition of your Nissan is your Nissan Plus. Like, that's the dumbest marketing strategy I've ever heard of, because you might as well just label it. You might as well just label it a Nissan and just call it like an Infiniti Q under it. Like, that's the dumbest thing. I heard that and I was like, who came up with that? Infiniti is Nissan Plus. No, Infiniti just robs Nissan tech to call it Infiniti, and then then we get
it's a terrible marketing ploy. It cheapens Infiniti, is what it does, right?
Yeah, it already feels cheap.
I mean, it makes Nissan nice.
Yeah.
It's like, well, then why would I bother? Why don't I just buy a nice Nissan and save a couple bucks? Save like 10 grand. If I'm gonna buy a Nissan. I mean, the only thing is that I'd want to buy is I die when it comes to Infiniti. But we'll call it the almost Z, the Infiniti Q. No, what is it, Dave? Fill it in for me. What's the almost Z?
The Q60.
Q60. That's what it is. I kept thinking 50, and I knew it wasn't it.
Yeah. No. Well, and that's the bummer of it is, most of the Infiniti products from till now are all Nissan products. They're all Nissan. Like the Skyline right now is a Q50.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And my G35 was just a Skyline R. It wasn't an R34. I forget what or R35, because they say that for GTR, but it was just the continuation of a Nissan Skyline. And I don't know, man. Let's answer some questions here. Sleepworks there. Andrew was talking about, where did it go? Something about the Maxima not going away. Andrew, I hate to tell you guys, the Maxima's going away, man. I know you may sell a few, but look at the total sales for Maxima versus anything else, and it's weak sauce. And
I think if the Maxima was like a rear-wheel drive and they made like a like the Lexus, I saw one today. There's a Lexus, what is it? Their super high-end version. It's like the SF Sport or whatever.
The FS,
you know what I'm talking?
Yeah, the FS.
Yeah. If they kind of did the Maxima that way and they gave it like a super sport version, it was and they gave it a real transmission and stuff like that, I think they probably would have been able to do a little bit better in the market where they're competing with BMW, they're competing with Toyota and Lexus.
But Maxima could compete with those cars.
I mean, the styling was beautiful. I love the styling on the
interior
car. It had
of the
so
car.
many great lines. Yeah. But then it was just blah on the motor trans situation. Front wheel drive, nobody wants that.
It's once again, and me and Holden did a whole show about this where I talked about Nissan does not need Infiniti anymore. GM barely needs Cadillac anymore. Like these brands do not need some high end. Everybody knows what a car is now. You don't need the rich. They've got BMW or whatever. Guess what? BMW and them want to sell to the poor people like me, because that's why they create these what they've got, like a B class now.
1 Series.
Yeah,
BMW's got their 1, 2, and 3 series, so they can try and get the youngsters into them.
Right.
And they got the one, and then they have their CUV as they have their X3s and their X1s and their X1.5s and X1Ds, and they went full friggin' Bustamante.
But Mercedes is doing the same thing. Like they've got a class now, like entry level class. So why does Nissan need Infiniti anymore? Now, would it be embarrassing for a company of Nissan's stature to kill off a luxury brand? Yeah, it probably would. But guess what? You've got a Maxima. Like Danny, you were saying, Maxima's was always, it's a heritage vehicle for them. It's been with Nissan since they hit America. But Maxima is caught in between Nissan and Infiniti. Like you were saying, it can't be a rear-wheel drive car, because then it steals money from from Infiniti. It's a car that can't be what it needs to be because Nissan wants to be cheaper with Nissan, and they went Infiniti.
Yeah, and then I mean, you had like the G35, the 4-door G35, which had tons of horsepower.
Alpine Tribe with a 99 center. Thank you, sir.
And the banana. Thank you for your banana, sir.
Joe Taylor's asking Dave, who do you expect to be in the Rogue video tomorrow? Well,
that's a great question.
I know a few influencers that I don't expect to see in any more of their releases. I know that they had 2 chefs, which nothing against the chefs. They were in the Titan.
Brilliant.
They were in the
chefs.
and
delicious food.
Yes,
we love those chefs.
Yes, can
Not
cook
sure
amazing.
why they were in car videos.
We me and Danny got to meet Corey Barr, amazing dude, and nothing against Corey.
That guy's cool.
They paid him to be in these things, and hell, they pay me. I'm going to be in these things, but no brand awareness to this guy, and it's not like his claim to fame is he was on one of the cooking shows, and who's the gentleman that did barbecue? I forget his name. And then they had,
I don't remember.
What was it? Maddie the fisherman.
Yeah, Maddie Brennan, which super rad chick, super cool. She has an amazing Instagram.
Oh, Tammy,
she's an influencer.
Yes,
dang, Tammy getting fresh with us.
But I hope it's
Maddie
not.
Was,
I hope it's not Miss Marvel.
The old internet.
Yeah, but I hope it's not Miss Marvel, the lady from the Sentra commercials. That would probably piss a lot of people off.
That's all we need.
I don't, but yeah, like with the Titan thing, man, we beat that dead horse though. But they had people in it, they were expecting they come out and they're opening the doors and the tailgate falls down, all this, and people should really know who these people are, and people just think they're just models that they hired to put in the car to drive them. They don't know who these people are, and Maddie has 300,000 or 400,000 followers, which is more than we'll ever have, but it don't mean a hill of beans.
But I get Maddie a little bit more. I think the part of the whole cooking thing happened because they did that big push with the barbecue Titan, and they were, it's all outdoors and they're barbecuing and stuff. I think that's where it came from. I don't think it should have gone as deep and as long as it did, where those are the guys that are bringing out the new Titan.
Yeah.
I think there could have been a little bit more awareness in the truck world to bring that out. Let's talk to truck racing guys or I don't know, just something a little bit less niche.
Yeah. And they don't have anything.
Barbecue.
Even if right now, if they brought out whoever's driving their EV race program, nobody would know who that person is. There are no who's Toyota's race guy? Ivan Stewart. There are no Ivan Stewarts anymore. Even for Toyota, there's nobody you put in that vehicle. Well, they did Chuck Norris. They did that funny video with Chuck Norris, but there's a couple Ivan Stewarts out there right now. Yeah, there's Bryce Menzies, right? He's one of the one of the best drivers out there, and maybe you could put him up close. There's you could say Robbie Gordon. He has more of a name just due to his past, and he runs the Torque series or whatever. But I wouldn't. There could have been a thing where they put him in they gave him a race truck, or they backed a race team and stuff like that. I'm not saying that's the best way to do it. It probably would have spent $1 million doing that, but the way they went was just so niche that it's for a company that should be bringing out a truck for truck people, right?
Going through the barbecue version.
Like you were saying, Maddie's respectable because she's a fisherman. Professionally,
that's super cool, and I get that. I get that mostly because it's outdoors, it's truck stuff, and she's super rad too.
Like Corey and those guys, I follow their social medias, and I never seen any reason for them to have the truck, nor did I ever see them really posting anything about the truck. So, and we met them, super cool people. Nothing.
It's nothing against them. They're freaking awesome people.
It's no jealousy on my part that they're not using me in it because once again,
there's jealousy. I wish they picked me. I'd influence their truck big time. I can guarantee you that.
Right.
And I need it to tow.
Right.
Race trucks.
And the person that those were their people, she's no longer with Nissan. She went to Infiniti, and that was her choice to try to I understand too, Danny. They're working on such extreme budgets, such tiny budgets that
for sure
that. They were throwing darts and hoping something, one of their influencers for some reason took off. But anyway, so Danny, we got Frontier news. I'm dropping a video Tuesday, but we'll give our listeners here a little quick thing. So everybody's always asking, when are we going to see a Nissan Frontier, a 2020 Frontier in the showroom? And I know I've watched some of the other internet shows of like, oh, they're never going to produce it, man, this and that. Somebody the other day said, well, they're not going to, the 2021's not even going to premiere till next summer. And I'm like, well, that don't even make sense why you would drop a 2021 by summer, because like people with Frontier news, if you guys, like, we're not always correct, because I was told it was going to be a 3.5 liter engine. I eat crow on that one. I was told within Nissan that's what the motor was. So everything we say is not correct. But guys, the truck's going to be here before 2021, the summer of 2021. But Nissan kicked in production this past week, Danny. All the three of their plants, the Deckard engine plant, Canton, Mississippi truck plant, and Smyrna, Tennessee plant are all going again, but they're about half capacity right now. It's not because they don't want to build vehicles; it's because they're having problems getting parts. But
and on top of that, they have to follow certain standards and guidelines, and that means only a certain amount of people can be in a certain amount of space, and they all got to. I'm sure it costs them, hundreds of thousands of dollars just to open up those places with all the new guidelines that you have to do. I know a ton of companies that are.
And all the people that work at the plants are mad. Like my neighbors are all mad because they got to wear masks. They've got to wear their safety glasses. And guess what? On top of that,
they have to get a questionnaire.
You have to have a shield.
So
you have a full face shield. You got safety glasses. And then you've got this mask, and it's hot. I know in warehousing where I was at, it was hot no matter what. I can't imagine what these people are going through right now. And but it also came out that layoffs happened, Danny, like major layoffs. So Nissan has a couple subs that work for them. And Yates, Danny's getting a beer. Look at that. But
Copeland, thanks. Cheers, buds.
Oh, thank you, Dan. Thank you, Copeland. They So Yates is a company that staffs for Nissan. They're subcontractors for Nissan. They laid off a ton of their subs this past week, and I'd talked to a few people over there that were when COVID happened, they were like, oh, they're bringing us all back. It'll be back to normal. And I was like, look, guys, at the rate Nissan needs labor right now, half of you ain't coming back. Like the layoff's gonna be permanent, and I took some crap about it because people were like, well, I mean, that wouldn't be cool if Nissan. And you're like, yeah, but that's business. Like,
the sales are probably a third, and they were already bad.
Yeah.
So if you're not selling cars, dealers aren't buying new cars to supplement that inventory.
Alpine.
Dang, Copeland's getting hot. Cheers, ladies and boys.
Yes, cheers. But and I really did. I took a lot of in some former employee groups that I'm in, and I took some crap about it. I was like, look, man, it's a business move, and it's the easiest way to do it because so they're getting COVID money. They furloughed them.
Yeah.
And that means that the intent is to bring you back. But guess what? If you don't need you right now. And so right now, Nissan's killed a bunch of their staffing, and maybe in a year or so that all kicks back in. But my heart bleeds for those people. But as to get back on topic, Tammy, double fan, thank you. The 2020 Frontier is on the production lines, Danny, and is slowly trickling out of the plant. So as I reported in February, they had brought the truck was. It's sitting in Canton, Mississippi lots ready to be shipped out, but they don't ship anything out till they have enough that dealers can push it all at once. They don't just find your favorite dealer and he gets a handful and then everybody else is.
Yeah.
So dealers there's a way of they kind of try to balance it and everybody gets some. So
yeah.
I know
Nissan, if you're making 2020s and you want to get that engine and frame built as a race truck, I have all the connections. I am a race truck driver. So let's get that race program going. Desert racing is the best way to market a new off-road type of vehicle. So just give me a ring or just slip into my DMs. And I'll just sell the old race truck. We'll build a new one.
Let's be honest, Danny. They've witnessed your lack of speed on getting that race truck out.
Dave, I may be racing in 2 months.
I hope so, because I'm going to be there to support you.
You heard it here.
When we know Nissan was working on something racy for I can't say what it was in Bout, but we had some inside track that
there was talks of something super rad, especially with that motor. That there was talks of happening, and then literally right after that, COVID, and obviously as soon as that hit, nobody's gonna say anything.
I love the Copelands. They're getting it. They're getting strange in our chat. I love that. Scott S30's like, this is getting awkward right now, and I'm not
going to be worker sweat in the Sentra from the factory.
It would take a lot more than that to make me red, Tammy. You're just seeing reflections of whatever's around me.
Seriously. Joe Taylor has the quote of the day.
What's that?
That there's gonna be worker sweat on a new Sentra from the factory. So gross, dude. I could just I immediately picture like the butt sweat stain and like the lower back stain on the seat, and you go to get in, and you're like, oh,
that
it's so
smell?
musty. And you're just,
You grab the steering wheel.
It's crusted white from like the salts.
Yeah. You grab the steering wheel, and all of a sudden your hands, you're like, what is that? Is that cat piss? What is that? Oh man. Let's see. 2021 Frontier makes.
Hold up, Dave.
What?
Sleepwalker, talking some smack with the 69 miles already, dude.
Uh-oh.
That kid, man. I don't know if he's qualified to start talking about 69 miles, because I made, well, not in that truck, but I made it a lot further, and I got that monkey off my back.
Oh man, yeah, that poor Danny. You're never gonna live that down, Dan. You do realize that, right? And of course, that's not your fault. It was who you were with, but
yeah, one day you'll get to ride in a race truck, there, buddy.
Really? Thanks, Dan.
Well, yeah.
Behind
I'll take you more than 69. I'll take you way more. I'll take you past 69.
Can we do 500 miles of testing before a race though? And then break down during the race. See, I love that I can poke at you now on video, and you gotta. Danny would give me these eat shit looks when I used to poke at him on the podcast, and now he can't hide it. Oh man! Oh my God! Danny needs to beat 69. I don't know what beats 69, but
I already did, Alpine. I made it to Vegas, from Vegas to Reno, buddy. Yep. I got the monkey off my back.
Oh no!
It was in a Toyota, so I have to beat it in. Here's the thing: I have to beat it in my race truck, obviously. So
whatever you beat in your race truck is more than I got to
beat 69.
That's a different podcast, sir. That's a different productions. Let's see. But the 2020 Frontier should be in dealer lots. I would say by the end of the month, you'll start seeing 2020s out there. And in my video, I'm like, well, okay. So they get them out. How long do they keep it out for now? Usually turnover is in end of August, somewhere in September. I know I was told by an inside source that Nissan is 60 days, pushing everything 60 days back. So does that mean the 2021 doesn't in production till the end of November? And then, which would say you get through trials and everything, it would maybe be 1st of February that we're looking for the 2021 Frontier, Danny. And dude, I'm as we kind of wind this.
You're gonna buy one as soon as it comes out. Obviously,
I literally am flying.
You're going to be waiting for it to come off the production line, and as soon as it does, you're going to be right on there, just like dry humping it. Like,
oh, gross. No, but part of like the funds that everybody's donating, and that's kind of part of it, is to be able to literally to be the first for you guys to go grab something, and either say if it's out in say it's in the Denver area by chance, Danny, take it right to NizTech. It goes, I mean, literally, like Chris and his guys get their hands on it instantly. And you want to be first to market and aftermarket, right? So you definitely want your hands on that.
Oh, of course. Yeah, those guys, guys are awesome.
What if it's our buddies down at Regal Nissan? Then guess where it goes? It goes right to Z1 Offroad,
Z1 Offroad, yeah. We'll see what happens.
And I know John and those guys are itching to tune that engine already. So, Alpine, thank you so much, buddy.
I'm gonna be scraping the bottom of the fridge here for beers with all these freaking drinks I'm gonna have to take.
Right.
By the way, if you send a sticker, we drink.
Well, Danny drinks. I'm at. Wait, no, I have another one. Well,
come on, Dave.
Listen.
Wait, what's the Dave thing? What did you say? That's some good power.
No, what was that video that you gave me? You did a remix of it or something. Kept sending it to me. Oh man. Joe Taylor, I want to see Holden interviewed. We'll try to get Holden on here. He's poor Holden's been like, me and Danny got to talk to Holden the other day, and the poor guy's like working his tail off right now. Like,
yeah.
He's literally like he's taking over that business basically, and so they're getting his feet wet in every position. And what did he say? He was running body shop parts plus the mechanic side.
He's kind of managing a bunch of them now, so that's part of the
yeah. And
Tammy, that's part of what he's doing.
Oh, Tammy, cheers. But we will do our best to get Holden on here. I'm sure Holden will be feisty as ever, and he'll bring the Holden effect in. Who do you guys want to see us on here? So Danny wants to do more interviews on here, and
we have a lot of. I mean, we've done so many interviews on the podcast, right, Dave?
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked to so many cool people. There's a lot of cool people we haven't talked to, but then I think there's a lot of people that we've talked to before that we need updates from. You know, we did the podcast for how many years, and there's a lot of cool stuff that people did or that they're doing now and whatnot. So we wanted to know from you guys who you think we should talk to. I am still working to get Chris Forsberg, and somebody mentioned this earlier in the chat.
Have an inside track to that.
We both do.
I've got a I've got a Nismo connection to that now.
Oh well, I have his like Jeremy Headley from Icon.
Yeah.
They're like buddies. They're like drift buddies.
Okay.
So we have multiple connections.
We can tag team Chris.
Me and Dave are gonna work our magic. And we got to get Forsberg because I don't know if we said it before, but I had him like scheduled to be on, and then it didn't work out, and I was like, I had a full page of notes that I wanted to ask him, and I was like, we got the whale, and then it didn't happen. So.
And I was driving to my vacation, and we figured out how I could do it mobile, and Danny recorded all, and we got kind of shafted. And knowing the lady that I talked to from Nismo, Brianna over there, she was like, that's not Chris. She's like, he wouldn't do that. He doesn't care how big you are. It's just, she goes, he's a busy dude, and it probably just slipped his mind. So there was a while I was pretty angry at Chris Forsberg, and he has no idea who I am. But it's like a lot of. I was never mad
at him.
Listen to Suck Up Danny over there.
Love. I got bro love. Nissan race bro love. He's got a cool Titan. He's got.
I know.
And his new. He went away from like LS motor or something like that. He went back to, I want to say, now I can't remember. I want to say he went to like a VK or a turbo.
Well, I've been watching TJ Hunt. I've been watching TJ Hunt on YouTube here, and he's a little YouTuber that's kind of a little snot ass, punk ass kid that, you know, he hit at the right time, and he's been big into Z's here lately, and he's buddies with Chris now, and I didn't realize like Forsberg like develops parts for drifting and stuff. He doesn't just like do it. He develops and sells stuff, which was really cool.
A lot of stuff, yeah.
But he seems Joe. I don't want to talk to Allison. I don't think Allison will be there next year. So
I think Carlos Ghosn would be a good one though. I really.
We used to have Carlos Ghosn on the show. He used to be in our chats all the time.
I know. He was in our chats, and I don't know what happened to him. He just disappeared one day.
Steve Kilmer.
Maybe he's in a music box.
Crocs. You mean Steve Kramer? Is that who you're talking about with Calamini? Rugged Rocks, Steve-O. Steve-O, I don't know what Rugged Rocks, are they in business? Are they out of business? I can't keep up.
Yeah, he's still in business, but you know what? He's such a Nissan off-road legend of old that we got to have him on. He's a buddy of mine. So that would be a ton of fun to chat with him. And
I don't think Tiago wants to
talk about all this stuff.
I don't think Tiago wants to talk Nissan, Joe. Sorry. The Calamini interview. Yeah, I would. There's been
get him on here, rip on him all day long.
Yeah, there's a couple people that I would like to interview, and I would play nice. Like there's a dog brand out there who I'd like to get on the show and just see what really makes them tick. See what the bark is all about with them. I would really like to get them on there, and then maybe the next week I'd like to get Niztec on here and just get a rebuttal. And I could see an ongoing series of aftermarket wars or something, we'll call it. And I think it would be fun. So
Lift Wars 2020.
So All Dogs, I'm going to say your name right now. All Dogs, if you want to be on our podcast and our production channel, hit me up. Let's talk. And I'll be nice. I poke at you guys on the interwebs, but I'll play nice with you. But I will hit you with some tough questions. So know that. Like, you will answer for a few things. And that's Cal Mini. Steve Kramer, you want to come on? Because Steve hit me up one time, Kevin. He wanted to be on the podcast bad at one point. I don't know what it was, but he called me up and you know, he was buttering me up and offering me parts that probably belong on somebody else's vehicle. And but that and Greg with PRG did the same thing. Greg was like trying to get on the show, and I was like, geez, man, like me and Danny were hot stuff back then. But let's see, Spencer. Yeah, Spencer's going to be on here. We definitely have Spencer on here.
We'll get Spencer on. Insane Fab.
Yeah, we'll get Corey on here. Hey, man, Corey was on what, show number 3, I think?
Man.
That was
way back. Yeah.
I don't think Corey would fit in the video, though. He'd be like this.
Right?
Corey's such a tall dude, man. Let's see. Tammy wants to be on the show. Hey, man, we're usually a few drinks in by the time we get on the show, too. So,
Spencer Lowe, that would be cool. Wait.
I would not roast Allison. Honest to God. Like, I'm friends with Allison on Facebook, and especially, like, being a lady right now in the auto business, like,
Allison who?
Allison Witherspoon. She's the head of their PR in North America.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I would question her bringing Brie Larson on board as a spokesperson, but other than that, man, it's a thankless job. Nissan PR right now is a thankless job, and I know we used to bash them like crazy about, hey, they're not advertising enough. They're not doing this or that. Guys, they have like this much budget to do anything with, and you've got this much budget, but you've got this much area you got to cover. So they, total chaos. Are they still around?
For sure. Croy McCready's talking about that who built the Truggy first gen Xterra.
Oh wait, Tiago,
he's
no,
talking
he's wrong.
about the guy. I think he's talking about the guy that's he's got all those what are they, Z31s? I think it's that guy. He has a turbo Xterra. Correct me if I'm wrong, Croy, but
that's Crocs.
I think I talked to
that's
you,
not
Dave,
Croy.
about
That's Crocs.
Crocs McCready's. But yeah, dude, he's like a ninja when it comes to Z31s, but he also has a turbo Xterra that's like a little play toy. They just stripped it all down and just threw a turbo on it for fun.
Right. So Scott S30 is like, let's talk Terra. Dude, we've talked a lot of Terra. I can't talk anymore, or else they're never going to bring it to the States. Let's see. Seriously, we need to get a 4th gen Xterra. A 4th gen? Hell, let's get a 3rd gen. And
I'm down for a 4th gen.
They don't need it. Okay, so VK guys, stop it. That midsize truck does not. Yeah, in the current Frontier, it's really cool. You can put 315 horsepower engine in there, and I think they've got the new one where they can swap the new one in there too. But I'll take that 310 horsepower V6 any day over a V8.
Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal. VK swaps are badass, right? Obviously. If you swap a VK in, immediately you're going to start and you start beating on it a little bit, you're going to have driveline problems. You're going to be blowing rear axles. You're going to be blowing lockers. That amount of power, especially if you get a little tune in it or something like that, it's a lot of power for what's a frame and rear axle that's not.
Well, the frame was built for it, but the axle wasn't for sure. Same frame.
Well,
same framing.
I mean, it's like for the Pro 4X, you get the M226, right? But it's not the strongest axle in the world. You know, it's Dana 44, and it can handle the power. But until if you start really wheeling on it and stuff like that with that much power, you're gonna start snapping.
Danny, did you drink? Because Alpine
gears or something.
Alpine donated some money.
I'm out already. Those guys wrecked me. I got last sip.
Yep, that's what he put too. He's like wrecked. Let's see, Patrick. When is registration opening up for Wint? You ready for some off-roading? Guys, I'm ready to off-road as well. So I've sent a few sponsorship packets out to some select companies. Nismo wants to come on board with a sponsorship. I think Z1 Off-Road wants to come on board. I'm wanting to feel everything out a little bit for sponsorship and make sure everybody's comfortable with it. We've got the registration packet done. It's literally the world is in such a weird place right now, guys. And I do not want to take anybody's money for registration. And then Went doesn't Went breaks even, makes just a hair of money for next year, but really it doesn't make enough to fund the next Went. So I don't want to take people's money and then have to spend it to get going. And then this fall, all of a sudden, they shut Tennessee down again. And I know Gone Moab had this problem, and I feel sorry for Leland because it put him he was in such an incredibly hard spot to begin with by taking that event over last minute. He worked his tail off, and me and Danny both tried to help get that event back to where it needed to be. And I know Kevin there, Copeland and Tammy and those guys really helped guide Leland, but it put him in a bad spot, man. And I don't want to get into that spot. Now, I've promised the past few weeks that it would be the next couple weeks we get it open. As long as I know my sponsors feel comfortable with everything where the world's going to be, we'll have it open. And honestly, too, I'm waiting for Nismo to come through for the homecoming that we're trying to do at Nissan HQ. So if you don't know, I'm trying to do the opening. Normally, Went opens up on a Tuesday, and it's Tuesday through Saturday. But this year, we're trying to do it where it opens up on Sunday, but we don't meet at Windrock. We meet at Nissan HQ here in Nashville, Tennessee. And it'll be a Sunday. The parking lot, they're going to have the ZCon will be the week before, and they're doing a lot at HQ. ZCon ends on that Saturday night, and Nismo would like to see ZCon, some of the Z guys hang around for Went people to come in so the car truck guys can intermingle a little bit. And that's the plan. But it's literally like any major corporation. You don't just get one person's okay. You got to get 400 people's okay to be on the property. So that Nissan would have to have security on site, and that costs money. And we all know what Nissan does have a ton of money right now. But as soon as literally, as soon as Nismo goes, it's a deal. I'm pushing on the button. Let's go. It's ready to go. So it's not, because you guys know I've done this for 9. This is the 10th Went. It's not a matter of not wanting to do
10,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a matter of not wanting to do it. It's a matter of is the world ready for us to do it? But let's see. 2021 Gone Moab is on. I hope so. Right now.
Yep.
Yeah, like Alpine was saying, Leland was hit in a bad spot, and I plan on having Leland on. Me and Leland were talking before the show. So they're doing a raffle. If you go over to gonemoab.com, I think they've got it on their website. They're doing a raffle, and some of the sponsors already sent stuff in for them, so they're going to do the raffle on that stuff, and they're going to do all the money they collect. They're donating to, I forget what charity it is, but we're going to present the check here on. We're going to do it on our channel, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. And once again, Leland's a good dude. Just got the shaft and not just from one person, from the world. It seemed like. Let's see a couple more questions before we end this. Don't be like Calamini. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. It's odd. Gone moan. Gone mowing.
Gone moan. Yeah, right.
River Rock is now open. Let's see. Went News. Carrie, I answered that. Let's see. Cordelia Motorsports. I'll take my Tacoma out off-roading. Probably Epic Video. Hopefully it doesn't. His dirt bike. Hopefully not, man. If you guys haven't yet, go to Cordetti Motorsports. Click their link. Go like what he does, man. Jeff's doing some crazy stuff, and I like it. P&P would be a cool interview. Okay, here, I'll show you this. I had a lot of interviews. I think, no, this isn't the right chip. Okay, so you guys all know what these are, micro SDs. I had 5 years worth of interviews on one of these things. 5 years. My wife or daughter, it was stuck in the side of the computer. The last episode I was editing, shoved my computer against something, broke the card in half, and so 5 years of interviews are gone. I had an interview at Went last year with P&P. I had an interview with CVT. I had a bunch of interviews that are gone. So as we talk about gone, it's kind of interesting.
So it's, you know what, we need to do real interviews where people can watch and get the full interaction live. So we'll just do it again.
Yeah.
And we'll bring it to the people.
And I've had some people hit me up and go, "Hey, where'd the podcast go?" I plan on stripping these things and putting them on as audio. So that's kind of the goal too, because I know some truck driver friends are like, "Hey man, I missed the show and I can't have a video playing where I'm driving down the road." So it's coming. Let's see a couple more questions. 18 watching and 17 likes. We had up to 30 watching at one time, and why is the thumb down on that one? Who gives us a thumb down, Danny? What's the deal?
Jerks.
With that?
Jerks are giving us thumb down,
But
Dave.
Dude, I'll watch.
Jerks.
I'll watch people. I love trolls. People went on my buddy Tim with Pickup Truck and SUV Talk. He'll start his stream like we do, and people will start talking, and he'll start getting thumbs down before anything happens. And you're like, why would you be a dick like this? Because it does affect the analytics, man. So
yeah, like why? Like what is it doing? Like, are you so mad at what we're doing that you're gonna try and stuff us? Why don't you just leave us alone and go away if you don't like it?
that's right. Go to the Toyota podcast.
Just don't. Yeah, just go listen to a Toyota podcast or something.
Right. Go put your nose in the air like you're better than everybody.
Anyhow, Dave. Hey, Dave. Let me do a shameless plug.
Ladies and gentlemen, shameless plugs are brought to you by Nistec
I
Lifts.
just dropped a video of the red truck. I crashed it.
Wait.
Well, it got crashed.
And we're out. Oh, I'm sorry, Danny. We're out.
What? I crashed the truck, and the big red got crashed into, I will say, rear-ended. So I just did a little update video on my YouTube channel, zbruhz. If you would go over and watch that and give it a like. And
how close are you,
not
Danny?
Subscribe to zbruhz. What's that?
How close are you on being funded?
I need
Danny,
800 hours.
You need 800 hours to be fun, and you're guys
of watch time, and then I'm funded.
Guys, I'm not going to do another. We're not doing another live video till you go. Everybody, go watch Danny's channel, and he needs 800 hours, which you think's a lot of hours, but I do that in a week. Like literally, like this channel does it quickly. So if you guys would go, just turn the computer on, walk out of the room where it's playing one of his playlists, and just
game the system for me, please.
That's right. Danny has a face for video, but his voice is not for audio. So I know it's annoying.
That's true. Dave's got the voice, and I got the face.
That's
if
right.
Only we could be
you
one
put
person.
us together, and we're a whole person. So let's see. Overlanders equal CrossFit. Yeah, pretty much. Let's see. My cat wasn't impressed with my lack of presence on video. Sorry, Andrew. Just for that comment, Andrew, you're banned for another 2 weeks. Sorry. Intern Andy is the snide comment about his kitty. Let's see. Yeah, Danny, you're gonna get there, man. I know you are. You're so close. And I know we bug everybody.
It's plugging away.
We bug everybody about this, but I don't make a ton of money on here. Like, we make more money with your super chats on this show, trust me, and so appreciated. And
we're really appreciative, especially the
Yes.
Copelands.
Yes.
Special shout out to them, obviously, Dave.
They need a name
if
on
you
the
don't know
wall.
who the Copelands are. Yeah, they really do. If you don't know who the Copelands are, Kevin is one of the founders of Gone Moab. He started doing Gone Moab back when it was Kevin, throw it in the chat. What was Gone Moab the first time? It was like gathering of Goaks, gathering of Xterras. I actually had a Gox shirt that was like somebody brought like some old Gox shirts, and I had a Gox shirt for the longest time. I don't know what happened to it, but
much like the hats I give you,
that was like
just threw it away.
Yeah, he was like he's like such a fundamental off-road starter of something that was so cool.
Right.
So they're super cool. We love them. We've been off-road with them. Probably not enough, but thank you so much. They're channel's sponsors, really.
Yeah. And I have talked to Kevin about being on the show, him and Josh, to talk about the old days of Moab, what it was like to get that going. And if you guys want that to happen, smash the like button and just let us know. But as long as we can keep the tequila or whatever out of Kevin's hand for a couple of minutes, we'll get some good interview, I think.
No, Dave, no. They're gonna be coming on, and you're gonna know that we're gonna have to keep the bottle in our hand, because it's gonna be a crazy show if those two cats get on.
Oh man, let's see. Alpine, not me. It was Ian. Let's see. Xterra love. There's a lot of Xterra love. Man, these shows would not be anything if it wasn't for the Xterra. Like, me and Danny would have not met if it wasn't for the Xterra. And I'm gonna do a video. I did it episode 13, which is my lucky number. I talked about how I got into this. So I've been planning to do a video, me and Kelly sitting here and talking about the old days of what what it was like to get into this and some of the hardships that we had to get into this and where we are today. So I also want to let everybody know, like, because of the funding, we're about to be a proper LLC. So that's about taken care of. DRB and KGB Media, Danny, will actually be a real thing now. So once again, I tip my hat to everybody that's done this. Yeah, Danny's been bugging me forever. Danny, go watch Danny's channel. It means a lot. Once again, he only needs like 800 hours. That's like nothing. I'm literally, when I get off here, I'm turning the computer on and hitting go and just getting Danny those hours. So let's see. Cordetti, I'm here because of the Juke. Jeff, we were talking over in pickup truck and SUV talk. Come on, man. But the Juke, so the Juke update, I've got a steering wheel. I got some wrap for it. I'm trying to buy some wheels for it. I found some Infiniti wheels for it, Danny.
Oh, nice.
Like a
nice.
Super Dave deal. $100 for wheels and tires. G35 wheels.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. That's pretty sweet. I dig. There's a couple cool G35 wheels. I hope you got the good ones. There's a couple styles.
It's like what I had on my G35. So.
We'll see.
Yeah. So let's see. So from all things, Danny, any more plugs before I end it?
No.
I
already plugged my plug.
Okay. Once again, go to Z-Bruhz. If you
I could plug you.
Wait.
You want to plug it?
This is getting awkward.
You want to? What do you want me to plug, Dave? Anyways.
So
do it, Dave.
From all
Take
things,
us out.
From all things Nissan, wherever you're watching us around the globe, whether it be on your treadmill, you're got a beer in hand, you're sitting on your couch watching us on the big screen.
Yeah.
You're on break, or it's your favorite job, hating the man. Just let's break it down, Danny. This is the Nissan Nation podcast, and what are we, Danny?
Oh, we are so out.
Peace, everybody. Love y'all. Peace, everybody. Love y'all. We will see y'all next week. And new videos popping this week. Out.